y'all. We're in the same spot. Good afternoon. It's 1:27. I've been having a dilemma for the past it's been a long time that I've been having this dilemma, but I guess I just came to an understanding about it. So I've been having trouble because I've been exploring darker parts of myself for a long time and bringing them to the surface, telling people about them, whatever. And people usually get uncomfortable, whatever. And I finally got to the point where I was asking myself these questions because I was like, okay, it feels weird because everybody else feels weird about it. I'm acknowledging certain parts of myself that other people don't necessarily want to acknowledge. So I was like sitting there and I was like, it feels wrong because everybody else makes me feel like it's wrong. For me, I always need a why. It's not for justification purposes, it's for understanding purposes, right? So I finally got to the point where I was asking myself, why do you enjoy exploring these parts of yourself? I've been through a lot of things that would put pockets of knowledge in your brain. When I say that, I mean like there's a lot of situations that I've been through that are so complicated, not because of anything like crazy, not because of any type of weird stuff going on necessarily, but just because of life and sometimes because of some weird stuff going on, but sometimes it's just because life is happening and you can't really account for every single piece and knowing every single piece. But it leaves so much room for wonder. It leaves so much room for overthinking. It leaves so much room for pockets because there's a lot of pockets of information that you do not know. And then eventually you have to move forward, especially if people aren't bringing you that information. You just sit here with these holes. One thing that they always talk about with like trauma, we'll say trauma, sometimes it puts holes in your brain. Now, when I asked myself this question, this is all a preface. When I asked myself this question, a song came to my mind and it's called Scar Tissue. I looked up what the purpose of scar tissue is and it's to heal. It's to help heal and da-da-da. Imagine healing holes in your brain, filling the holes, right? When you have absence of information, especially in emotional situations, you have to fill the void somehow. Now, you can either fill the void by overthinking and making up stories, or you go by how you feel about the situation and how it made you feel. Now, at a certain point, it became very rational to where I was like, okay, so this is how I'm feeling about it. I'm just gonna have to leave it at that because I can't explore this right now. I can't go back in and explore this the way that I want to. That involves me putting myself in situations that I don't want to be in anymore. The emotions fill those pockets because it shows you that there's not a void. It's really dark, like a hole. You feel what I'm saying? But I didn't realize that I was letting my emotions fill in those holes and be like, okay, well, that's all you need to know, baby. I was having trouble figuring out how I felt so fulfilled with myself, even having gone through these situations and not having the information to move forward. Like, I didn't understand where I was getting this piece from. I filled in the pockets myself. That does get in the way sometimes of like, if you need to break some sort of barrier, discomfort wise. But for one, I usually grow by myself. So if I'm healing something, if it involves other people, I don't really like to get other people involved because that adds too many variables. It's happened before, over and over. So it just kind of gets in the way. A lot of the situations that I was trying to justify to people, you put it on paper and I'm like, well, duh, why would I want to be in this situation? Like, very obviously like a no. It does ultimately like make me feel really good about where I'm at because that means that I'm able to separate myself from the things I don't want. Because ultimately it did end up better every time. I always ended up better off. Now, my problem is I notice shit very early. So like I'll say something and then people will be like, what? What are you talking about? No, you're being delusional. I'm like, okay, bye. Like, have fun. And then it dead happens. I tried to tell you. Like, I've proved it to myself over and over again. I think it's time, you know? And I know other people had this issue too, where it's like, I didn't listen to myself. when I should have, I listened to other people over myself, and I'm like, I'm not doing that anymore. I heard myself the first time. I'll leave. That's it. Bye.